Hello all, I'm Wadabra. Welcome back to Adastra. In the last episode, Cato and Cassius had been taken to the hospital, allowing Marco to safely leave the protection of Neferu's room and wander around the palace halls. While doing so, he runs into Alexios, and Marco confronts the cat, accusing him of telling Cato about Marco and Amicus's relationship. Alex quickly puts on a pitiful act and is able to seed enough doubt in Marco's mind that Marco backs down from the issue. A few days pass. Cato and Cassius return to the palace. Cassius officially becomes emperor, and Marco and Neferu begin concocting a plan to damage the two wolves' reputations. Neferu sets up a drone in the corner of his room to record an interaction with Cato. Neferu miscalculates slightly and is soon attacked by Cato, who seems dead set on killing him in a momentary fit of rage. Luckily, Marco is able to make a distraction, saving Neferu's life. While Neferu is laying on the floor next to a puddle of his own vomit, Cato promises to return at an unspecified time in the future to continue this conversation. Soon thereafter, Virginia shows up, informing Marco that Cassius would like to speak to him. During this exchange, Marco gets Cassius to guarantee the safety of Earth and his fellow humans, ensuring that they won't become indentured servants to the Wolven Empire. Finally, the episode ends with a tearful reunion between Marco and Amicus. Sadly, they're only given 20 minutes, and so are forced apart before either of them were ready. That's the recap. Remember to like and share this video to help me appease the almighty YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode. And as always, content warnings and a link to my Patreon can be found in the description below. Let's get started. The journey back to Neferu's room is when it all hits me at once, and I have to constantly wipe my eyes in case someone like Alex, Neferu, or Cato comes around the corner and sees me. I already desperately miss Amicus, and now that I've just left him, I'm reminded of how alone I feel now that he's not always by my side. Next time I visit, I'll bring a bunch of stuff to say, do, and eat. I can't imagine the dungeon food is any good. Maybe we can find more privacy next time, and we'll be able to plan things out, maybe pass information onto him somehow. The thought of this makes me feel a little better, and my eyes are mostly dry as I near the jackal's room. It's at that moment that I get a strange whiff of something in the air. Like mothballs? That's all that comes to mind. It's something that I've never really smelled in the palace before, so I find myself pausing in the hallway, looking around. Nothing seems out of place. It's quiet and bright, as it usually is, but that's when I realize where I am. There's a door to my left, and I immediately know that's the meditation room. I remember then that Cassius mentioned that he wanted to meditate, to talk to the parents. Is he in there doing that right now? And is that smell part of it? I'm reminded of the night I first met Amicus, that I'd smelled something like burning rubber in the air. This isn't that, but I have to wonder if maybe the parents emit this odd smell when they arrive. I stand there for a while, listening. I don't hear anything, but that smell continues, and I know now that it's definitely coming from that room. My eyes are squarely locked on the black panel. I want to open it, but I know I can't. If Cassius really is in the middle of talking to the parents, I could ruin everything. So I start to turn away, deciding that I'll ask Neferu what might be going on in there. But as I do, the door opens, and a cloud of billowing white smoke comes out. I gasp and jump back, seeing a figure standing in the doorway. It's Cassius, and he's hacking and coughing, gasping for breath. I can see that he's shaking too, and I'm about to back away when he locks eyes on me. His eyes are wide, bloodshot, and I can see what looks like vomit on his chest. His muzzle hangs open, as if trying to talk to me. He's hyperventilating, though, and that's finally when I step forward. Cassius? Are you okay? I have to walk into the cloud to get to him, and I'm enveloped in the chemical smell, immediately coughing out the acrid smoke.
Help me.
Cassius reaches out to me, and I catch his paw. Immediately, he slumps against me, and I stumble under his significant weight. Nowhere near that of Amicus, but he is a wolf after all. What happened? I try to peer into the room, but it's so smoky. I see what looks like a little fire in the middle, though, a pot burning something inside. Did Cassius hotbox himself with something?
Parents! Demons!
I don't know what to do. At first, I start to try and pull Cassius along toward Neferu's room, but I immediately switch course, deciding that I definitely won't make it. Amicus's room is closer. I just hope that I can still get in there.
I can't.
Cassius whines, and then suddenly lets out a retch. I try to ignore it, just kind of hoping that someone else will come around the corner to help me, even if it's Kato. As I'm thinking this, I realize that the hall seems to be stretching further and further ahead of me. The lights take on an odd quality, strangely sharp and bright. And just like that, I instantly fall into what feels like a dream. Oh, God damn it! What were you smoking?
Parents!
Cassius squeaks. I'm angry, not just because this dumb wolf got me high on who knows what, but because I'm realizing that this is what Cassius was referring to when he said the traditional technique of contacting the parents had worked. All he was doing was getting high on some DMT shit. Is this how it's always been? Are the wolves, all the aliens, just getting their crazy parent ideas from some drug? The hall continues to extend ahead of me, and suddenly I feel like I'm looping in time. Like time doesn't matter at all anymore. I can see why Cassius is panicking. I'm starting to myself. After what seems like an eternity, I manage to find Amicus's door. Shakily, I reach out and press the panel, the door sliding open. I practically throw Cassius onto the bed. He seems to have stopped blubbering at this point. I collapse onto the sofa, my anger at the wolves and so-called parents dissipating from my mind as the high increases. I raise my hands in front of my face and immediately regret it as they start to stretch and bend. Quickly, I jerk them back to my chest, hugging myself, trying to keep my breathing under control. It feels like I'm sinking into a crater, like the ceiling is raising up above me, and that time won't start moving again. I gasp and clutch at the cushions, shutting my eyes, trying to calm myself down.
You seem to be worried about something. Want a stress tablet to help you out?
That voice sounds kinda like calm, kinda not.
They help you chill.
What? My confusion over Calm's voice melts away as, mercifully, darkness takes me. I'm relieved to find myself back up in space. I float, content, calm, happy, even though I sense someone watching me, just behind me. Behind me? There is no behind me, because I don't have a body anymore. Instead, the feeling creeps just outside of my awareness. Whenever I try to focus on it, it slips away. So instead, I just let it go, floating in space, feeling almost nothing. And feeling nothing right now, after everything, feels good. But after a moment, I start to get vague, far-off feelings. Not my own feelings, but the feelings of others, and I pick them up like distant whispers.
We've interfered far too much already. Nothing goes to plan with the wolves. It must be done.
I'm only half listening, coasting on the waves of soothing empty space. If this is how the drug makes you feel, I'm pretty into it.
The more we interfere, the harder it will be to predict anything. There is no other choice.
The voice feelings cease at this point, and I continue to ripple on the waves of the universe. That's when I notice something appearing in the center of my infinite space. I've seen this thing before, I think. Dreams that had fled my mind the moment I'd woken up suddenly come flooding back. I focus on this being, this creature that's been following me since I was abducted. He looms there, staring at me, even though I'm everywhere at once. The silence goes on for a while, or maybe not. I still don't have any sense of time. That is until the creature speaks.
Marco.
The voice is deep and masculine, rumbling through my being. I wait a moment, then try to acknowledge him, made difficult by the fact that I don't have a mouth to speak with.
If you wish to communicate, then do so. I can hear you.
What? I try to think the word at him, but it's slow and clumsy in my mind, and I just wish that I could talk. There's a rumble of amusement through the air.
If you desire a body, simply will it to be. The loss of self is a disturbing feeling to you creatures. I know.
What he's saying doesn't make all that much sense, but I try anyway. And just like that, I feel my being start to pull together. I start to materialize right in front of the creature, and I see my hands in front of myself again. When I look down, I see my body, naked. As soon as I see that, I feel a shock of embarrassment, and my robe suddenly appears on my body. I still don't feel right, like I'm still not in this body that I see. Still, it does feel better, and I'm able to open my mouth. What is this? My mouth feels strange and rubbery, and at the same time it feels like cotton is coating the inside.
This is...
For the first time, the creature seems unsure of what he should say.
Well, it's a bit complicated to explain. But it's simply a space where you and I might be able to communicate peacefully.
That's not really an answer.
No. But if I were to explain it in depth, it would waste the small amount of time we have together and confuse you even further.
I try to stay focused, wanting to know as much about this guy as I can before the drug wears off. You're a parent? That rumbling laughter tickles at the edge of my existence again.
No, definitely not. I am a monitor.
Monitor. Icy fear trickles down my imagined spine as I realize what this all might mean. The monitor quickly holds up a paw.
No. Don't worry. You're not in trouble.
I watch him cautiously, as if he's only lulling me into a false sense of security before annihilating me on the spot. Again, that feeling of amusement.
Now that would be impossible to do here.
What about Amicus? Is he in trouble?
No. He only did what we had planned for him to do.
Planned? There's a pause, as if the monitor is gathering his thoughts.
No. I'm simply receiving instructions.
From
The parents.
I stare at him. They're talking to you?
Yes. About you. And what I can and cannot tell you.
Why don't they just talk to me then?
Because they cannot. Direct communication is impossible.
Then how?
I was specifically designed to be a bridge between your, let's say, dimension and theirs.
I don't really know what to think about that, but I get the feeling that I shouldn't be distracted by these things right now.
That would be wise.
So what do you mean, planned? The parents set Amicus up somehow?
Your abduction and introduction to the Woven Empire was meant to happen.
Why? Another slight pause.
The wolves could single-handedly undo the Galaxius. But you can change that.
What? How?
The wolves are a stubborn sibling, possibly a mistake made at the very beginning. But the parents can still see the correct path and destination.
See? Can they see the future or something?
In a way, yes. Their minds extend in many times at once.
I'm starting to become lost, and suddenly I begin to feel like a primitive life form, incapable of understanding this ancient alien monolith before me.
Do not feel that way. You yourself may not understand, but your species as a whole is more than capable.
My mind automatically thinks back to how we were abducted by the wolves, by maybe even the jackals too.
You were abandoned by all the siblings.
For a single moment, multiple images of several different creatures crossed my mind. A bear, a wolf, a jackal, a lion, a ram. They're all recognizable, and what they wear is recognizable too, reminding me of several cultures on Earth. The images finally stop on a tiger in a flowing dress, with intricate designs and patterns, and what looks like a sari draped over her shoulder. As the image fades from my mind, somehow I know immediately that it's Mira.
Yes. We reined in the wolves once before, with the help of the Hindos. But it lasted for a far shorter period of time than we'd foreseen. That's why we've turned to you to play her ancient role.
But we're not part of the Galaxius. Everyone failed at uplifting us. So isn't something wrong with us? Another pause.
In a way, yes. But after the attempts, all of the parents realized that humans would factor into the Galaxius later. Now.
All? Aren't the parents competing with each other? This time, I only get silence in response. I wonder if he's just being told that he can't tell me that. So what am I supposed to do? What do you want with me?
Restore Amicus to his rightful place on the throne.
I wait, but there isn't any other explanation. And how do I do that? Silence. Why me? More silence. Why can't you all just tell me what to do? You brought me here, didn't you? Just tell me. Nothing. I'm about to just give up, wait out the trip, when the monitor begins speaking again.
Interference often leads to destabilization of the events that should follow. The Galaxius must develop and learn in its own way.
Except for now, right? This is interfering, isn't it?
Except in various instances where the children and siblings stray too far off course.
This time I'm the one left unsure of what to say. I'd always seen the parents as all-knowing beings with only good intentions for their children. But now, how do I know they can even be trusted? What I do know is that the monitor is apparently able to hear all my thoughts, so he definitely heard that. Still, he doesn't say anything, just regarding me silently. So I guess you can't tell me what the purpose of all this is then. The Galaxius as a whole.
That knowledge has not been earned by the sapiens yet.
My mistrust grows. Well, can you give me something? Anything that might help me with getting Amicus out of the dungeon? If I'm straying off the course, then tell me how to get back on it. The monitor pauses for a moment, as if getting more information from the parents.
Watch the cat.
The cat? Alexios? I wait, but again I get silence. I shake my head. If the parents really are all-knowing and all-powerful, then why can't they just tell me?
We are neither of these things. Hence why we must be so careful.
I just stand there, unsure of what else to do. Is Cassius all right?
The false emperor? Yes. He's somewhere around here.
The monitor looks about dismissively. Did he hear us?
No. He's too busy panicking. A side effect of being a cowardly imposter.
I frown, feeling that's a bit harsh, even on someone like Cassius. Can you help him? Maybe bring him here? I get a feeling from the monitor that I can only describe as an annoyed sigh.
I suppose.
A few moments pass before I start to see something appear next to me. The unmistakable shape of Cassius materializes, frightened and shaking.
Marco? Where are we? What's happened? Are you?
Then he sees the monitor. He jumps behind me, shielding himself from the creature.
The demon! Help me!
I get that feeling of amusement from the dragon creature again, and I frown. Have you been scaring him? I get the feeling of a shrug from the creature.
If he's scared, that's his choice.
And the parents are okay with you doing that?
Possibly not. But the white wolf means little to them.
What?
That seems to get Cassius's attention, and he pokes his head around my side to glare at the monitor.
Excuse me? But I am the Emperor.
No, you are not.
I frown, the scene growing more and more surreal before me.
Excuse me?
Just as I'm about to step between the two of them, I find myself unable to hold my consciousness together any longer, and I begin to drift off. Slowly, I come to on the sofa, my eyes cracking open as I wince at the throbbing headache I have. There's a cold sensation around my mouth, and I reach up to feel that I've been drooling all over myself. I roll over, feeling a wave of dizziness as I do. I pause there, waiting for the wooziness to pass. When it finally does, I'm able to focus better on my surroundings. I stare a full 10 seconds before I remember where I am and what I'm doing there. I look over at the bed and see Cassius lying spread eagle on the covers, his eyes fluttering. I watch him for a while, realizing that he's still unconscious. He did take a lot more of the drug than I had, so I guess that makes sense. Very slowly, I slide my legs off the sofa and sit there as a second dizzy spell overtakes me. I wait a solid minute for this one to pass, so that when I stand up, I don't just end up falling over. When I'm able to do that, I stumble to the bathroom, feeling more and more clear-headed by the second. When I get to the sink, I rest there, staring at myself in the mirror. My eyes are red, and my hair is messed up in every direction. I wet one of the towels and wash my face, and by the time I'm finished, I feel mostly better. As I rest there against the sink, I think back to what just happened. Not just the drug trip I'd been sent on, but what I'd been told. All the dreams I'd had since being on this moon. I remember everything. I don't know if it's real or not, if I'd really just spoken to the parents. It had seemed too intricate to not be real. My mind wouldn't be able to make up something like that, would it? Then again, I don't know what Cassius was smoking. As if on cue, I hear the wolf snort in the bedroom, and I make my way out of the bathroom, finding Cassius on his side now, facing away from me. Cassius? Slowly, I walk around the bed and see that the wolf's eyes, just as red as mine, are open and staring off into space. I try again. Cassius? You okay? The wolf mumbles something, not even looking at me. I walk up to the side of the bed, reaching out tentatively before gently touching him on the arm. That seems to jolt him from his daze, and he jerks away, gasping in surprise and fear as he pulls back and looks up at me. I hold my hands up to show him that I mean no harm, and he stares at me for what feels like over a minute. Finally, he mumbles out my name.
Marco?
I nod slowly, not wanting to make any sudden movements. Yes, I'm Marco. You're in the palace, in Amicus's old room.
I know where I am, idiot.
Seems like he's returning to his old self. Well, that's good. You had a pretty bad reaction to whatever that was. Cassius is pushing himself up into a sitting position, doing it slowly, just like I had. He lets his head hang for a while, probably going through the same dizzy spells I'd just experienced. I wait patiently, deciding to move back over to the sofa while I do. His ears perk up as I sit down, and he looks back up at me.
What are you doing?
I frown. What do you mean?
I mean, why are you still here? You may leave.
I guess I could. I just wanted to make sure you're okay first. Cassius lets out a soft, indignant snort.
You think I believe that?
You're dismissed. I give him an incredulous look. Seriously? First of all, this is Amicus's room. Second, I'm a Chemian. I don't see you ordering Neferu around like that. This time, Cassius lets out a louder snort.
Ha! He's royalty, and an actual Chemian. You think that I'd pay you the same?
Chemians see all their citizens as equals. I'm worth just as much as he is in their eyes. Instead of snapping back, Cassius just lowers his head, eyes closed, before he lets out a deep, forlorn sigh.
I'm tired. If you wish to antagonize me, please leave it for another time.
I've been pushing the boundaries with Cassius on purpose to see what the limits are, and I'm getting more comfortable with conversing with him without fear. Still, I'm a bit taken aback at Cassius's sudden tone of defeat. It's one that I haven't heard often. We're both silent for a minute or so. Then I finally speak up. So what was that? That smoke stuff? It was a drug, right? Cassius is silent for a bit longer, and I wonder if he's going to ask me to leave again. But instead he just sighs and finally looks up, his eyes looking a bit more clear now.
It's called Somni, a plant from the southern region of this continent. It helps us connect to the parents.
Yeah, you said it's the traditional way?
The old way, yes. Usually we communicate through parental tech, but as you know, they're not currently speaking to us with that method.
So, this forces it to happen?
In a way.
Does it work? Cassius glares at me.
You would know. You were there.
I go silent, that statement coming as a surprise to me. I'd seen Cassius, of course, but I thought it had only been part of the hallucination. You saw me?
Oh, please, Simeon. Or whatever the hell you are. You're only trying to humiliate me further. I was right next to you.
So that had been real? I sit back on my hands, contemplating all of this. I've read about DMT experiences back on Earth, how if you break through, you can meet extra-dimensional beings that tell you the secrets of the universe. I would have considered my experience to be all in my head, but if Cassius was actually there... I noticed then that Cassius is looking very closely at me, gauging my expression. What?
He spoke to you, didn't he? What did he say?
I try to think of what to say. If this is real, then I doubt telling Cassius everything will help me out in any way. He must see the hesitation on my face, because his fur bristles.
The Emperor demands you tell him what they told you!
I glance up at Cassius, feeling less and less afraid of him with every threat he sends my way. He really is all bark and no bite. He just sort of asked me what I was doing there. That's it. Cassius continues to glare at me before finally seeming defeated once again, looking down. But he seemed okay with me being here. He was a monitor too. I don't think Amicus is in trouble. Cassius shakes his head.
I don't trust anything he said. He was a demon.
I sigh. What did they say to you? You looked pretty scared.
I was not scared.
I let out an involuntary laugh before I can stop it.
Damn you! I was simply unprepared for the experience. It was much more intense than the previous one I had. That's all.
Cassius looks at the ground again, and I can see that the insides of his ears are a burning red. I know that laughing at him was a shitty move on my part. I should be working to get him on my side, to help Amicus. So I make an effort to get my expression under control. Listen, I'm not against you, Cassius. Actually, I think we're working together here. I'm just trying to figure out how best to help your brother. Cassius continues to stare silently at the floor, though I see an ear twitch as if acknowledging what I just said. If we're going to work together, we need to be at least a little bit honest with each other. Maybe I can help you figure some stuff out. I realize how hypocritical that is, especially considering that I'm hiding what the parents had just told me. Cassius lets out a skeptical huff.
You help me.
Yes. Cassius seems to contemplate, then shake his head.
Well, nothing there could help us. They simply torment me when I try to communicate with them.
Torment?
They appear as demons and taunt me. It seems that the parents truly do want to cut off contact with us, which I'm fine with.
Cassius says that last bit with such meek defiance that I almost feel sorry for him. Maybe it was just the drug. I've heard plenty of stories of people freaking out on mind-altering stuff, especially if they have problems with anxiety.
I do not have a weak mind, Marco.
That doesn't mean you have a weak mind. Sometimes you just...
Enough! I will not have you speculating about my mental capacities.
This time, I'm the one sighing, wondering for the 100th time how the hell this wolf is Amicus's brother. So they didn't say anything to you? Cassius pauses, a frown tugging at the corners of his mouth.
No.
I raise an eyebrow at him.
What? Of course they said things to me, but nothing useful.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure. The parents have turned on us. That's all I need to know.
I think back to the conversation we'd had in the hallucination. The monitor had told both of us that Cassius isn't the Emperor, and if Cassius had heard what I heard, then that's probably what he's thinking about right now. But I know now isn't the time to challenge him, and I can tell that he's still trying to recover from the trip. Still, looking at him right now, staring at the ground, looking disheveled and defeated, I feel myself wanting to help him. Out of everyone on this moon, he seems to be the most stressed out, and I feel bad for him, despite everything that's happened. But I know he doesn't want my pity right now. So I eventually leave Cassius alone on the bed and wander back out into the halls, feeling as if weeks had passed since I'd last been out here. I think back to what the dragon-like creature had told me about how I'm here for a reason, that this has all been planned out. Planned out by parents who seem to be completely frustrated at the behavior of the wolves and their inability to follow through on their plans. For a brief moment, I wonder how much more smoothly things would have gone if I'd been abducted by someone like Neferu and taken somewhere like Chemia. But then I wouldn't have met Amicus. Besides, it seems like it's just the wolves that are giving the parents problems, not the other siblings. Which reminds me of the only bit of advice that the parents had given me. Watch the cat. Spy on Alexios. That's something I think I can do, if I'm careful. Despite the new level of scrutiny I've fallen under, I've also been walking around the halls of the palace for the past few days without incident. I've even come across Kato a few times, but for whatever reason, he's completely ignored me. All for the better. So I start to scour the palace for the cat. He's actually pretty hard to find when he's not looking for you, but at least I know that he's usually in the gardens, if not in the hallways watering the plants. So after eating a quick lunch, I decide to start my search in the gardens. I look back and forth through the foliage as I walk quietly along the various pathways. It's quiet, pleasant, and peaceful, but after everything that's happened, it has an ominous edge to it, like something could jump out at me at any moment. I do this for about half an hour before I start to realize how fruitless this search might be. Alex would be hard to find even if he was out here. And besides, he could even be all the way out in the city doing his ambassador work, whatever that is. Just as I'm about to give up, though, I hear sobbing. I pause, listening. It's a bit difficult to hear through the slight rustling of the leaves in the wind, but there's definitely someone out here that sounds upset. I can't really tell who it might be, since it sounds like they're trying to keep quiet. That, and there's another sound too, another voice, and this one I recognize. Alex. It's a soft murmuring sound, like he's soothing someone, probably the person crying. I wait there a few moments, waiting to see if the sound fades or gets closer, which would tell me if they're moving, but it stays constant. So, convinced that they're sitting down, or at least standing in the same spot, I creep closer to where the sound is coming from. It's in a secluded part of the garden, coming from a small square that's surrounded by trees and bushes. I'm familiar with this square, the one with the statue of Drusus, where I'd been laid out to die. I know that I can't use the little path that leads up to the statue. I'd be seen for sure. So I walk up to the bushes that surround it and start looking for a break in the various branches and leaves. The sobbing sound continues, and I can hear Alex's voice more clearly now. I still can't quite tell exactly what he's saying, but I catch the occasional, "Don't worry," and "All is well." I start to wonder if this is exactly what the parents had hoped I would come across, and my heart starts to hammer in my chest. Am I about to find something that's going to help me out of the mess we're in? I finally find a thinner coverage in the foliage, and I'm able to see through. First, I see Alex, his back to me, crouched on the ground in front of the statue. He's draped over something, someone, hugging them, his face pressed to the side of their head. I can only see their ears and part of their shoulder, but I know right away that it's Cassius. He's got his head bowed deeply toward the ground, his paws to his face, shaking with his sobs. Alex hugs him tightly, whispering into his ear, clearly trying to comfort him. Cassius only responds with an occasional shake of his head before finally blurting out,
But am I a fraud?
His voice squeaks uncharacteristically on the last word, and Alex responds with a gentle shh before nuzzling the wolf's muzzle. I watch for a few more moments before drawing back, feeling uncomfortable, and knowing that this is a private moment between the two of them. I know now that this won't exactly help me in any way aside from making me feel even worse for Cassius. Still, I've found Alex, so I move away, toward a bench that's further up the path, one that gives me a good view of the entrance to the square, and at a distance that won't make me seem suspicious. A good 10 minutes pass before there's any movement. First, Cassius comes out, in the process of straightening out his armor, his expression blank as he stalks off up the path, away from me. I wait a while. A good while. Maybe another 5 minutes, wondering if Alex somehow took a different exit from the square. But at that moment, I see him walk out, looking completely neutral as he looks around. I freeze up, positive that he's about to see me, even though that would be okay, but he instead walks straight ahead, toward the pond. I watch him go for a while, then follow. It feels strange trying to spy on the pet ambassador like this, especially when I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is the only hint I was given to free Amicus, and if this is the only way, then I'm going to do it. I find the cat at the pillars, already pulling away at the weeds. I sigh and wait, watching for a while, realizing that this could last hours, since Alex always seems to enjoy weeding for some reason. The cat is so meticulous about gardening here, and I have to wonder why, considering his efforts really wouldn't be all that visible in a garden this big. But I remind myself of why I'm here and settle down on another bench, one that's also a good distance away so that I won't seem too suspicious if he sees me. This time, I sit there for a few hours, occasionally adjusting the way I'm seated as my ass gets sore on the stone bench. And as the sun sets, I realize how boring spying actually is. Around the second hour, the sun is completely set, and I debate just giving up and trying another day. But at that moment, a drone suddenly drifts up to me, making me jump and duck my head down a little bit, as if that will help me hide from Alex.
Neferu requests
Shh.
your location and if you need his assistance.
Of course, at that exact moment, I see Alex strolling up the path, though he doesn't move toward the palace. Instead, he starts walking up the path in my direction, and I quickly stumble off the bench and into the bushes, praying that he didn't see me as I hide myself amongst the leaves. The drone follows me, then pauses at the edge of the sidewalk. I'm reminded that these things probably can't move off the grid of the pathways. Just through the leaves, I can see the damn thing's lights on, stubbornly waiting for my answer. At the same time, I hear the soft scraping of Alex's sandals on the pathway as he moves closer. Damn it! It would have been better if I just stayed on the bench. Now this drone is going to reveal me to Alex while I'm hiding in the bushes like the most suspicious person in the palace. I see the green tips of the cat's ears poke above the bushes as he hums softly. I crouch lower in the foliage until I can't even see that. I will the cat to just ignore the drone, but the humming stops, and so do his footsteps, and I know that he's spotted it. Do you have a stray drone out here, Com?
All drone machinery are accounted for, Alexios.
What is this one doing?
I feel my heart stop, swallowing hard. There's a pause, as if Com is calculating something.
That information is classified, Alex.
By whom?
Neferu.
There's a pause, then a chuckle as Alex's footsteps pick up again, moving further away to my left.
Oh, that jackal.
I'm still holding my breath as I listen to the footsteps fade up the path, before slowly rising up from my crouch, glaring at the drone.
Tell Neferu that I'm busy, but that I'll be back tonight. I have some things to tell him.
Message received. Thank you, Marco.
Yeah, no problem.
I say it sarcastically as the drone floats off in its slow, lazy way. At this point, the sun is set completely, and I have to wonder why Alexios is headed in that particular direction, leading either toward the gates of the palace or the lake. I follow the path slowly, keeping my eyes peeled for the cat. At first, I'm almost positive that he would be heading for the gate, maybe on his way to the city. This would be the end of my little mission, since I know I can't leave the boundaries of the palace without being hurt somehow, probably killed. But instead, I spot the cat's form, just barely visible in front of the lake, its surface glinting from the light of the moon. I stop and hide behind a tree, making sure that I'm not close to any of the lampposts. I watch as Alex moves around under the little gazebo with the watercrafts under it. Sure enough, a few minutes later, he comes gliding out on the sightseer. He floats over the shore, then out onto the lake, in the direction of the island. I know right away that I'm seeing something important. There's nothing on the island for the cat to take care of, as far as I know, and unless he's going out there for a nighttime outing on the beach, extremely doubtful, then he's definitely doing something suspicious. I wait for a while, watching as the dark form of the cat and the craft gets smaller and smaller until they basically disappear out in the direction of the island. Of course, I know I can't follow him out there right now, but I can definitely tell Neferu about it. Neferu is in his room when I arrive, tapping away at what looks like a transparent tablet. It's an odd thing to see considering the non-existence of portable technology in this palace. Maybe it's a Chemian thing. As soon as he sees me, though, the display slides back into the small metal bar that it had been projecting out of as he turns to face me. Hello, Marco. You were gone for quite a while. Yeah. Care to share how your visit went with Cassius and hopefully Amicus? It takes me a moment to remember exactly what he's talking about. After my little trip, everything that happened before it seems so distant. I try to tell Neferu as much as I remember involving Cassius before the parent thing, and he seems impressed. I suppose bringing Cassius to our side won't be as difficult as I'd previously thought. It seems he has similar misgivings about Kato. Yeah, and Amicus is doing okay. Just a bit depressed about everything that's happening, obviously. I pause then, which Neferu notices. Is there something else that happened? I take a deep breath, thinking how best to describe what I went through. Well, when I was coming back, there was this weird smell coming from the meditation room. Neferu raises an eyebrow, and I go on to explain how I ran into Cassius again, then everything that happened afterwards. When I finish, the jackal is quiet, just watching me with a narrowed gaze. This is usually the look he gives me when he's thinking hard about something, so I give him some time to respond. When he does, it's hesitant and reserved, not usually something I hear from Neferu. So it was a drug-induced hallucination, yes? Well, I guess so, but I think it was real too. Like, Cassius was there, and he remembers seeing me with him. What's wrong? Well, that's a very primitive way to contact the parents. To put it bluntly, it does not work. It was a method used in the early days, during first contact between sibling and parent. They visited multiple times, and in between visits, some siblings, especially the wolves, would try to contact them again via psychotropic drug use. This could occasionally bring visions of higher beings, although they were not the parents, of course. As simply imagined beings conjured up by a chemically imbalanced brain. This is likely what you experienced. To truly contact the parents, you must do it through parental tech, a complicated machinery that is able to transcend dimensions. It is usually only usable by a single person, such as the Emperor for the wolves, or the Pharaoh for my people. Neferu stops talking at this point, allowing me to take all that information in. So maybe I had imagined it all, even if it had seemed so real. They told me they had a plan for me and everything. Oftentimes such drugs stroke the ego of the user. They make you feel as if you are the center of the universe, as if you are important. Not saying that you aren't. Have you tried it before? I've had brushes with such substances in my youth. Good for experiencing the fragility of reality and how we perceive it, but little else. I see. Still, it sounds like you caught Cassius in a moment of vulnerability. He could trust you more because of it,
if you treated the situation delicately.
Maybe. I think back to when I saw him crying in front of the statue, but I don't want to tell Neferu about that, not really feeling it would be all that useful or appropriate to share. But this reminds me of what else the parents had said to me. Well, they also told me something else. To watch Alex.
Did they now?
Yeah, and I did. He's been acting weird ever since I got here. So I spied on him today, and he sailed off to the island in the middle of the lake just now. Neferu's got a strange, knowing smile on his face.
What? I just find it interesting that you have similar suspicions of Alex that I did.
What do you mean?
I've been studying the cat myself, and noticed a few odd things as well, including his trip to the island.
What? And you didn't tell me?
Well, this rather desperate situation we're in only came about very recently, and I had little use for this information until now.
Well, what do you think he's doing? Neferu shrugs.
I do not know, as I've not yet followed him to the island. You can imagine that I'm planning to now that we could use Alex on our side as well.
Turn everyone against Kato?
Yes.
So if he's doing something bad, then we could use it as blackmail?
Essentially. He is the closest person to Cassius, and could possibly grant us access to classified information.
I sigh, growing weary of all this backstabbing. If it's the only way to help Amicus, I guess.
Oh, there are many ways, and I have a last resort plan in place.
Which is?
Well, considering Amicus's birthright, he still has the ability to challenge whomever is on the throne. But...
Really? All this time, Amicus could have just challenged Cassius again? But what?
A fight to the death, since the wolves love their violence. Though the Emperor would have to accept the challenge.
The thought of that instantly makes me feel sick. No way.
Again, last resort. I doubt Amicus would challenge his own brother, and I doubt Cassius would accept. At least at the moment.
I can't even begin to contemplate a situation like that, and Neferu quickly changes the subject.
Anyway, I should be off. I'd like to catch Alex in the act, and based on previous observations I've made, I have another hour to do so.
I blink in surprise. Right now? Shouldn't we wait until, tomorrow night?
He only goes once a week. Considering how urgent our situation is, I should get this done now.
Can I go too?
Marco, remember what I said about needing to keep you safe?
Yeah, and it's Alex. What's he gonna do?
We should prepare for anything.
Well, I think it's better if we both go, in case something does happen and you need my help.
All right.
I'm surprised by how quickly he gives in.
I suppose you deserve to be treated as an equal in these plans we're making. Though, if Amicus finds out I'm bringing you on these missions, he'll have my hide.
I'll let him know I wanted to be part of it.
As if that will convince him. Anyway, let's be off.
Okay. My excitement picks up as I get to my feet and follow Neferu to the door.
If we run into anyone, especially Kato, we simply tell him we're out for an evening stroll. Understood?
Yep. Despite the potentially dangerous situation we're going into, my mood is lifted knowing that things are finally moving again. Luckily, there's another sightseer craft in the gazebo, though it looks much older, and the floor on this one isn't transparent, which I'm fine with. I'd rather not gaze into the inky blackness of the water beneath my feet while sailing to the island. Neferu is quiet most of the time, looking confident in everything he does as he prepares the craft. Finally, he reaches out his paw to chivalrously pull me on board. The lake laps quietly around us as we approach the island, a black mass amongst the ripples of reflected moonlight in the waves. I immediately spot Alex's craft sitting on the beach, near where we'd had our little picnic all those weeks ago. We travel a little further up the shore, out of sight of the craft, before we drift onto the beach. Neferu holds out a paw again to help me down, even though I don't need it. As I settle on the sand, though, he leans in close to whisper in my ear.
Wait here. Unfortunately, I believe simian footfalls are louder than that of a jackal.
Okay, but call me if something happens, or you need help. I see a smile on Neferu's face, and though it's amused, it's not in a condescending way at all.
Of course, my friend.
And with that, the jackal disappears into the night, leaving me with only the little craft and the gentle sounds of the waves to keep me company. I don't have to wait long before I hear voices coming from further up the beach, and I know right away that it's Neferu and Alex. I wait for a few moments to see if Neferu will call my name. When he doesn't, I frown and look around before quickly making my way toward the voices. It's not like I expect he needs my help, but I don't want to miss anything important, and I feel like the moment of confrontation with Alex should involve me. As I get closer, I'm able to make out the words, and I see that the two of them are right on the edge of the woods, standing just a few feet apart. I crouch and hide along the tree line as I listen more closely to what they're saying.
Beautiful night. I've always wanted to come to the island, to gaze at the moon and planet, away from the lights of the palace.
Oh, I see. It is incredibly beautiful here, isn't it?
While he's speaking in his typical pleasant tone, I can definitely tell that Alex seems a bit nervous, his voice tight and a bit out of breath.
So?
Yes?
Alex looks around nervously.
I heard you speaking just before I happened upon you. Is there someone else with you?
Me? Oh, no, definitely not. You know, it's rather embarrassing, but sometimes I just talk to myself.
Don't be embarrassed. It's something I do as well.
Oh, I see.
Alex seems to be relaxing a bit under Neferu's treatment, but tenses up again at the next sentence.
Though I usually don't whisper to trees. Now that is a bit odd.
I see Alex's ears flatten, though I'm a bit confused at the statement. Alex doesn't seem to have an answer ready, and stutters in the most guilty way imaginable. Weirdly enough, though, he slides up closer to Neferu.
Neferu, you're the one that's acting a bit odd right now, you know?
The small cat's demeanor suddenly changes to a more sultry approach, relaxing his shoulders and drifting a paw down his body. It doesn't seem natural at all, though, unlike Neferu's smile as he stares down at the approaching cat. He's still smiling when Alex reaches up to cup his cheeks and kiss him right on the lips. I blink, surprised at the sudden turn this scenario has taken. Neferu looks anything but surprised, though, grinning throughout the kiss as Alex tries to kiss deeper. Finally, the cat seems to notice the lack of a response from the jackal, and he draws back, frowning. Neferu shakes his head.
Oh, Alex, you know that's my technique. It will not work on me. Now, why don't we have a look at that tree?
Alex freezes up, looking around. and that's when I think he spots me.
Who's that?
Neferu turns his head just slightly in my direction, and that's when Alex makes his move. He sends a kick sailing between the jackal's legs, and just as I'm readying myself to intervene, Neferu's paw is there, solidly stopping the attack. There's a pause, Neferu holding Alex's leg, forcing him to balance on one foot as the jackal's smile turns smug.
What a pity that you're not the first to try such a move on me. I've learned people on this moon fight dirty.
Alex squeaks, but balls up a fist anyway, sending a straight punch square into Neferu's stomach. It connects with a hollow thud, bouncing off the jackal's abs like they're made of bricks, Neferu only grunting slightly in response.
Oof, now that's a bit more like it.
Suddenly, Neferu uses a leg to sweep Alex's other foot off the ground, sending the cat onto his back in the sand. Neferu follows him down, pinning the cat there, almost engulfing Alex with his much bigger body.
Ah! Get off me! Help!
Alex spots me as I come out into the open, standing next to the two of them.
Marco, help me! The jackal has gone mad!
I fold my arms and stand over him, and Alex quickly realizes that I'm definitely not here to help him.
What are you two doing? I told you, I know nothing, Marco. Why must you keep attacking me like this?
Alex continues to struggle meekly under the jackal, not even looking like he's trying to escape.
Attack you? Then why is it my stomach that is sore?
Alex doesn't seem to be listening, and tears start brimming in his eyes as he begins to sob. Now I'm fully convinced that his sobs in the bathing room were all an act.
Marco.
I turn my attention back to Neferu, who's still smiling as always.
About 10 paces directly in front of me is a large tree, larger than the others that surround it. Do you see it?
I look ahead and immediately see what Neferu's talking about. The tree noticeably larger than the others, its branches stretching dozens of feet into the air, the leaves looking like silver in the moonlight. Yes.
Go up to it, circle it, see if you can find a hollow.
I do as I'm told, feeling a little apprehensive as I step just inside the dark woods.
Wait! Neferu! Marco! I don't understand. Why are you doing this?
I realize at that moment how much I'm trusting Neferu here. I have no idea what's happening at all. The trunk of the tree is thick, enough that I wouldn't be able to touch hands if I were to hug it. I start looking for the hollow Neferu described, and as I walk around the tree, I immediately spot one on the other side of it. I look into the black hole, feeling a bit nervous at what I might find in there. I stop as a tiny red light in the hollow flares to life with my voice before fading again. What the?
You found it?
Yeah, and there's a little red light in there that's lighting up with my voice.
Thank you, Marco. You may come back now.
Gratefully, I return to the side of my Chemian friend, noticing that Alex's demeanor has completely changed now. He's sullen, though almost expressionless as he lays under the jackal, not even pretending to be trying to escape at this point.
Well, that settles it, doesn't it, Alex?
Alex remains silent, staring up at the sky. What is it? Neferu looks up at me.
Classic Amorphin parental tech. They often combine plant life and machinery to create their gadgets. Rather ingenious, and they've recently been sharing their knowledge with us on Chemia.
What a mistake that was.
Wait, but what is it?
A communication device. It uses the branches as a massive antenna, capable of transmitting information great distances. though it's likely transmitting to Adastra City. There is likely a second spy there, who then beams the information through a much more powerful machine, straight to Amorpha.
Neferu grins in Alex's face.
Isn't that right, Alex?
Once again, Alex remains silent, seeming to have shut down.
So, do you want to be the one to tell Cassius, Marco?
That finally gets a reaction out of Alex, and he stiffens up, fur bristling up as he snarls at Neferu.
And for what reason, Jackal? We're all spies here, including you. Especially you.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, Alex.
Alex continues to glare up at the jackal, but his fur is starting to lay flat again.
Oh, you think I'm that stupid? You think I just let you fuck me without any regard to your intentions? Without studying you? I know why you're here, Jackal.
Do enlighten me, cat.
You're floundering here, looking to make a name for yourself. The Pharaoh practically tossed you off the planet to attempt to cultivate a hopeless alliance on Adastra.
Neferu's eyes narrow.
How unfulfilling it must be to be the second born, unable to escape the shadow of your brother, unable to make father proud, stuck on this moon, getting your balls kicked in by the bigot wolves. Even your sisters, the third and fourth born, have secured positions of greater prestige than you.
I see Neferu grip tighter into Alex, but the cat goes on.
In an era where the royal family has already given up so much power, you're desperate behind that facade of confidence, terrified of withering away into historical insignificance. You'll be less than a footnote in the Chemian history books.
Neferu isn't smiling anymore, and I can tell that he's been caught off guard just as much as me by the cat's complete change in character. Still, he keeps his hold on the cat, remarking coolly,
I would choose my words more carefully if I were you, considering your position right now. As I was saying, we'll be reporting this to the Emperor as soon as we return to the palace.
Alex seems to deflate again, apparently satisfied with the hits he'd gotten in on the jackal.
What do you want? Don't play stupid. What do you want from me? You've known I was a spy since you first got here, and you're only doing this now because you want something.
Oh, how considerate of you. Well,
Neferu looks up at me.
What do you think we want, Marco?
Full access to the archives. Alex snorts.
I don't have that.
Then get it. We know how close you are to Cassius. Make something up as to why you need it, then grant us access.
For what reason?
To help Amicus. Cassius will not be harmed by this. You have until next week. Otherwise, the Emperor will know of your treason.
Alex remains quiet, and Neferu seems satisfied with that, pushing off the cat and getting to his feet.
Let us be off.
The jackal speaks briskly to me before turning on his heel and making his way back to the craft. I look down at Alex, watching as the cat simply stares at the moons, not even acknowledging me. The way back is a bit awkward. Neferu quiet, clearly upset. I haven't really ever seen him like this before, and I have to remind myself that I probably rarely see the real Neferu. He's putting on an act, just like Alex, just like they both have to. And though I'm curious about his family's situation, I have enough sense not to pry. Instead, I ask what I'm most worried about. What's to stop Alex from betraying us? He could just as easily tell Cassius about our plot. The jackal is staring off into the water, his elbows on the railing of the sightseer as he hunches over.
He won't. He can't bear the thought of Cassius knowing of his betrayal.
You sure?
Yes. His love for Cassius is almost equal to that of his loyalty to Umorpha, which is why I assured him that Cassius wouldn't be harmed by our plans. We have little to worry about.
The jackal's mood puts me off from asking any more questions, and we sail the rest of the way to the palace in silence. Welcome to the after reading. Let's talk about this thing. First, I'd like to take a moment to appreciate how Marco has started feeling bad for Cassius. This is actually something that's carried over nicely from the previous episode, which happens the same day as this episode. Cassius has the emperorship in title only. Cato's the one who's really in charge, and there's no practical way for him to oppose the old wolf. If push comes to shove, Cato could easily remove Cassius from the picture entirely. The poor little maladaptive guy is also still filled with that desperate, overcompensating little brother energy, with nowhere to channel it. This all comes to a head when Marco hears him crying in the gardens, asking Alexios if he really is a fraud. The poor guy, he really is pathetic. We also learn a lot about the parents during Marco's conversation with the monitor. The parents are not all-knowing. They don't actually seem to be competing with each other as the wolves believe. They require the monitor to communicate with biological life. They're worried the wolves are going to mess up their plans. And, most relevantly, Marco's abduction was orchestrated by the parents specifically so that he may reprise the role of Mira, whose story we were introduced to during the first trial. The monitor even confirms that Earth has been visited and abandoned by more than just the wolves, with each sibling species leaving their cultural impression in the areas they'd attempted to uplift. And while a proper explanation for all of this wasn't really given, we learn that humanity does actually have a greater role to play in the parents' plans going forward. Most importantly, though, Marco is now able to remember every interaction he's had with the monitor since his abduction, meaning he's no longer going to have that annoying gap in his own knowledge going forward. Which now means Marco knows that the parents are not going to punish anyone for Amicus accidentally initiating first contact with humanity. And later, when Neferu talks to Marco trying to convince him that what he saw wasn't real, I'm pretty sure for plot reasons that he's wrong on this one. And finally, we have confirmation that Alex is shifty as fuck when Neferu and Marco corner him on the beach and he admits to being a spy. Everything that little fucker has done and said has been an act, including his friendship with Marco. This actually explains nicely why Alex seemed so bothered when Marco woke up from his aviapox-induced coma. At least he does actually have feelings for Cassius, so if you count that as a redeeming quality, at least he's got that going for him, I guess. So what lies in store for our boys next? Find out in the next episode of Adastra. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like, share it with fellow degenerates, and leave a comment for the almighty YouTube algorithm. Until next time, thanks for watching.